back, Magic, with a follow-up video for cheap PvP templates or builds. First, we should probably start off by overviewing the different templates. So here are all the templates that I have listed. There are some other cheap templates that you could consider to use. However, the reason they are not on this list is because they're either too difficult to use and you won't be effective with them, or because they're just not a very good PvP template. These, however, are all very good ones. I do think some are better than others, but we'll go over that as we go through this list. Now, this very first template, this is actually a character I just built that's transferred over to Europa. It only uses 690 skill, so I used the 30 extra skill to put into spell weaving and made my character elf. So with this 30 extra spell weaving skill, that means I'm able to cast my Gift of Renewal and my attunement more reliably than a human would. It's actually very reliably. I believe it's like a 70% chance or even higher. Same with T-Storm, so that's very effective when you're fighting against people in dungeons, and let's say if they run into SL base or ninjas that are hiding. I mean, they're even just good to cast in between spells just to disrupt enemy groups. I mean, it's a good template. I do like it a lot. This overall, this will be the template that I will be showcasing. This is the one that I have on ATL. It will probably cost a little bit more, and in fact, I actually only have 95 skill. You do not need 100 alchy skill. You could go, 60, 70, 80, 90, and we'll go over what your alchemy skill should be, but I would prefer to have a completely decked out suit and sacrifice a little bit of alchy skill. Evade Scribe. This is a great template. I mean, I am not very fond of the disarmable characters as much. This character, because they are carrying, let's say, a alchy staff, most likely, they're not going to have any stopping power whatsoever. So they're only going to be able to cast their spells, which they will have Magic Reflect and Evade, so it's just pretty much for survivability. However, if you get footed or disarmed, this template suddenly becomes very squishy, so that's why I don't really prefer it. There are different variations to the evasion, because I know a lot of people like to have Evade instead of a shield. So here, instead of Scribe, you would use Alchy, and instead of Evade, you use Spell Weaving. This one would be more for a tank character. But Scribe, Spell Weaving, and Alchy are all very good support, and here I will explain why. So for Alchy, for every 1.3 skill in Alchemy you get, or have, you gain 1% enhanced potions. You can be a maximum of 30% enhanced potions from your alchy skill, meaning you can be at a maximum of 80% enhanced potions. This means that your strength and dex pots will probably give you like an extra, I don't know, I'm completely guessing here, but let's say 6 or 8 extra stats. And your heal potions will heal for a lot more. You're going to have a lot easier chance of curing any lethals or DPs, and your refresh potions will also work better. So I mean, it's very good. Not only that, but obviously the conflagrations are a very good way to cause traps against people to kill them very quickly, and especially with the Nova potions doing up to what, like 25, 28 damage. I mean, that's like an extra spell on top of it. Scribe, it adds 5 extra spell damage, so generally that means your explosions, instead of doing like 25 to 28, will do probably 28 to 32. I know it is a big difference. It's pretty noticeable, and that's effective for every template. So I mean, if you have a bunch of scribes that are casting spells on people, I mean, the chances are they're going to die a lot quicker than if they weren't scribes. Now, Magic Reflect is probably the most underutilized thing in this game. Magic Reflect is overpowered, and as long as you're able to figure out how to use it effectively, which I'll also demonstrate in some of my videos a little bit later on, then you're going to be very difficult to kill. You also gain a 5% casting focus, meaning that your spells have a 5% chance of not being disrupted. You can be a max of 12% if you have casting focus on your suit. And then I think everybody knows what Mana Shield does with spell weaving. I mean, you can read it for yourself here. And, you know, obviously has the benefit of being able to cast thunderstorms and wind, which, I mean, even S+, we had difficulties sometimes against big groups when they had T-stormers and people that are casting wind, because it just makes it to where casting spells are just not very viable. Alright, so we'll go back to the templates. This, like I said, is probably my favorite template. I mean, it's it kind of, just because, you know, the alchy gets it to where you're able to do a little bit more damage outbursts as well as the scribe. However, if you're going for survivability, I would go with this template. Now you could go with another cheap alchy mage. Like I said, this is only 600. It's the same template as this, except instead of scribe, you use alchy. Instead of alchy, you could use spell weaving. I mean, it's just up to you. However route you want to go. But overall, like I said, this one is my favorite. Now, if you're new, this would probably be the next if you're trying to not die. Alright, now let's go on to my character. So I do have, like I said, multiple different characters that are built under this cheap template, or at least that's how I'd like to say it. This character isn't as cheap. I just kind of went with the basic scribe and alchy template, except I put the most expensive jewels and everything possible that I could find, just to show you that because this template is easy to build, means that you're also able to gain a lot of extra suit buffs. So let's say, like, if I were to drink my potions, and then I curse myself, my stats are very high. I still have 125 intelligence, I'm at 95 stam with 85 dex, and I'm still 150 hit points after cursed. Now granted, you do gain extra strength and agility from your pots, and that does help, but a lot of the reason is because of my jewels. I mean, this jewel, you know, I think both of mine have mana regen, and that's by choice. You know, I wanted to make sure I have what, like 26 mana regen or so. But as you can see, they also have strength, or the dex and intelligence. So they have 16 hard stats on this one, 30 skill, and just 8 with this. Overall, the easiest way to build these templates by far is using this mask. Call is the best headpiece in the game. I've said this in many different videos, and I mean, it just makes it because your armor pieces are a lot easier to find. You know, obviously the LMC is huge, but the 35 enhanced potions means that you're actually able to equip it with the Mushroom's apron and be at your 50 enhanced potions and not need any on your jewels. Every one of my shield bash templates, I do use these alchemy cups, so only one jewel needs 3 fast cast recovery. That's because, you know, with the proc damage on a spell bash, and let's say if the lightning actually goes off, you're doing, you know, a lot more damage. You could use the 15 resist arms instead. You do not have to use these, and in fact, using these will probably make your suit a little bit harder to build as well, so just keep that in mind. I use these hit chance earrings, not because of any skill, but because I definitely do need the hit chance. I still want to be 45 and 30. That's showing my resists off. Oh, that's because I'm using the DCI. This character was so easy for me to build that I actually just used this instead of like a swing speed robe or Hawkwinds or the tabard that has the LRC and LMC. And even the same with the talisman. I didn't even use a talisman that has hit chance or defense chance on it. Just went with the skill increase. So also, if you don't use the Jumu's quiver, this, you know, gives the extra 5 chance. But also gives the extra stats. So, I mean, like I said, I went stat intensive heavy for this, so I could be as much intelligence as possible. And the reason why is because the higher intelligence you have, not only does it make you regenerate your mana a lot quicker, but it also is supposed to make your spell damage a little higher as well. I mean, I haven't really noticed that, but it is. Any character that uses scribe must refine physical. I only refined a little bit, I guess only like 3 of the skill in physical. But that's because when you do cast your magic reflect, you lose 5 physical. So you do have to be refined in that, otherwise you'll be dropping down to 65 physical. And that's not ideal. So now that we've covered this template, let's see, we'll just go over the stats a little bit more just to make sure that you don't miss anything. You do want your 20 swing speed, you do want your 20 spell damage increase, your LRC, 55 LMC. I generally do 30 defense chance. I just was overcapped and I said, hey, what the heck, and put it to 35 on this character. And we went over the stam and stats. We could see what my stats are if you want to on this suit, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see, switch clothes, and it looks like because this mannequin is probably a male that it wasn't able to actually put this chest piece on, so this isn't actually even going to be accurate. We can say with my mana regen without this piece on, so I'm 28 mana regen. I'm assuming I'm going to be, well, it's like a 16 hit point regen. And here you can look for yourself instead of me explaining it. Alright, now we can just go over to the videos. Now I'm going to showcase a few of my different cheap templates that I have, and just some of the kills and explain some of the things that go along with it. Alright, so these videos, I pretty much want to emphasize the importance of casting Reflect, so I just put a couple of the good ones in the beginning, but I should have better examples. I just couldn't find the videos, or I just simply didn't clip it. So, Magic Reflect, when you have it up, that means anybody who's trying to cast a spell on you, it's going to obviously reflect back at them. But not only that, that means you also can't get your spell disrupted when you are casting it. Here's a very good showing how to use Reflect while you're in a team fight or whatnot. You just always need to be very conscious of when your Reflect timers are down so you can recast it back up. So I ran off screen here, came back on screen after casting it on, and what do you know, they're targeting me, and at the same time I'm casting Explode Evil. So his Explode curse reflected back onto him while I casted Explode Evil. Pretty much just guarantees immediate death. In fact, a lot of times I've had people run up to me and just cast Explode Curse, and because I know I have Reflect up, I just cast Explode Flame Strike and try to go into a shield bash right away, right afterwards, and that'll kill them instantly. That's probably like the fastest way you can kill somebody other than maybe the shield bash character. This was the first template that I was telling you about that only has the 30 spell weaving, but it's a scribe. And, you know, as we mentioned before, having a scribe does do extra spell damage, so it's great with your team syncs. This is my tamer template. I didn't include this on the list because it's very hard to use, but it was cheap to use. For build, I didn't use any artifacts or anything because, you know, I had to transfer that character to a different shard. So he's using the Hephaestus shield, doesn't have the hit chance earrings, doesn't have the mushrooms apron, doesn't have the archer's gloves, any of the goodies. So I mean, these kind of characters are very easy to build. And the same goes with the character that's on Ultima. Doesn't have any artifacts whatsoever, just regular armor, and well, it does have the massive call.
Going now. Cut down, Betty.
Abort! That's it. See,
you're dead, kid! You're dog shit! You're whole team in.
If there are any, that looks like that just covers about everything, just on time. Well, hopefully you learned something from this, and you have a great day. Subscribe, like, and see ya.